time cannot be the first cause. In some naturalistic or materialistic frameworks, time itself is sometimes proposed as a fundamental entity that could be the source of all existence. Here, I will explain why time cannot be the first cause by exploring the issue through philosophical reasoning, scientific understanding, and Christian theology. 1. The philosophical limitations of time as a first cause. Philosophically, the notion of a first cause refers to something that is uncaused, necessary, and capable of bringing everything else into existence. For time to serve as the first cause, it would need to possess these attributes. However, time falls short in several important ways. First, time is not an independent entity but rather a measure of change or events. In the classical understanding, time is the dimension along which sequences of events unfold. It does not have the ability to cause events, it merely provides a framework within which causes and effects occur. Time is a passive backdrop, not an active agent. A first cause must be capable of initiating change, but time lacks causal power. It cannot bring out anything on its own, it merely records the sequence of events as they occur. Second, time is contingent, not necessary. Time exists only if there are events to measure. If there were no change or motion, time would be meaningless. This dependency on change and events indicates that time cannot exist in a self-sufficient manner. Philosophically, a first cause must be necessary, existing independently and without reliance on anything else. Time, being contingent on the existence of events and matter, cannot fit this description. Third, the principle of sufficient reason states that for everything that exists, there must be a reason or cause for its existence. Time, like space, does not contain the reason for its own existence. It requires an external cause to bring it into being. As a contingent reality, time cannot explain itself, let alone explain the origin of everything else. 2. The scientific evidence against time as a first cause. From a scientific perspective, time is closely linked to the physical universe, particularly through the theory of spacetime, a concept introduced by Albert Einstein's theory of general relativity. According to this view, time is not an independent entity but is interwoven with space and matter. Together, they form the fabric of the universe. The notion of time being eternal or self-existent is undermined by several key scientific findings. The Big Bang theory, widely accepted in the scientific community, posits that the universe, including both space and time, began approximately 13.8 billion years ago. Before the Big Bang, there was no time as we understand it. The concept of time coming into existence at the moment of the Big Bang implies that time is finite and contingent, not eternal or self-sufficient. If time had a beginning, it cannot be the first cause, because something outside of time would have had to bring it into existence. Additionally, modern cosmology suggests that time itself is dynamic and influenced by the presence of matter and energy. For example, in the presence of a strong gravitational field, time can slow down, a phenomenon known as gravitational time dilation. This shows that time is not an independent, unchanging entity, but something that is contingent on other factors. A first cause, by contrast, must be independent, unchanging, and self-sufficient. Time does not meet these criteria. 3. Christian theology and the eternal nature of God. From a Christian theological perspective, time is part of the created order, and therefore cannot be the first cause. The doctrine of creation ex nihilo, creation out of nothing, affirms that God created the universe, including time, space, and matter. Genesis chapter 1 verse 1 says, "In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth." This implies that time itself is a creation of God and did not exist before God brought the universe into being. Christian theology teaches that God exists outside of time. God is eternal, which means he exists without beginning or end, and is not subject to temporal constraints. God's existence is often described as timeless or atemporal. He is not bound by past, present, or future, but experiences all moments in a single, eternal, now. If time were the first cause, it would need to have similar qualities of eternality and independence. However, time, as we have seen, is contingent and had a beginning. God, as the necessary being, is the only entity capable of existing outside of time and bringing it into existence. Moreover, theological arguments such as the Kalam cosmological argument support the idea that the universe, including time, had a beginning and therefore requires a cause outside of itself. The argument asserts that everything that begins to exist has a cause, and since time had a beginning, it too must have been caused by something external, namely, God. This reinforces the idea that time cannot be the first cause, rather, it is part of the created order brought into being by a timeless creator. 4. The logical impossibility of time as a first cause. One of the most significant reasons time cannot be the first cause is the logical impossibility of time causing itself. If time were the first cause, it would have to exist before it existed in order to bring itself into being. This is a logical contradiction. Something cannot exist before it exists, because it would need to both be and not be at the same time. This violates the law of non-contradiction, a fundamental principle of logic that states that something cannot be both true and false in the same respect at the same time. For time to be the first cause, it would also need to have the ability to create matter, energy, and space. But as we have seen, time is simply a measure of events and changes. It has no creative power of its own. The very concept of time presupposes the existence of something that changes or moves. Without matter-energy, time would have no reference point. This dependency on the existence of other things means that time cannot be the ultimate cause of all things. 5. The need for a transcendent, timeless cause. The limitations of time as a first cause highlight the need for a transcendent cause that is not bound by time. The first cause must be something that exists beyond the dimensions of time, space, and matter. This cause must be eternal, necessary, and capable of bringing the entire universe, including time itself, into existence. In the Christian understanding, this transcendent cause is God. God, being timeless, is not subject to the limitations of temporal existence. He is not dependent on time to exist, nor is he constrained by the passage of time. As the Creator, God stands outside of time and brings it into being. This makes him the only possible candidate for the first cause. Time, as a contingent reality, points beyond itself to a Creator who is not bound by the constraints of temporality. Conclusion. Time as a contingent reality. To conclude, time cannot be the first cause for several key reasons. Philosophically, time is contingent, dependent on the existence of events and change, and lacks causal power. Scientifically, time had a beginning at the moment of the Big Bang and is influenced by matter and energy, showing that it is not eternal or independent. Theologically, Christian doctrine teaches that God, not time, is the eternal, uncaused cause of the universe. God created time as part of the contingent order, and he alone exists outside of time. Time is a measure of change and a dimension within the created universe, but it cannot explain its own existence or the existence of everything else. The first cause must be something beyond time, eternal, self-existent, and unchanging. Only God, in his timeless nature, fits this description. Thanks for watching. Please like, share and subscribe, and comment below if you agree or would like to add your thoughts. If you would like me to respond to your comment, please make a level 1 comment directly below the video. I will respond to all polite level 1 comments even if it takes me a while, due to other commitments.